Hello, welcome to another episode of Hull Seahawks Behind the Curtain. And it's been a very busy few weeks for the Seahawks. So we just thought, whilst we've got time with Matty Davis, we'd have a bit of a off-season halfway, or well, just beyond halfway review. Maybe not halfway in terms of time, but in terms of certainly how the roster is shaping up for the 24-25 season. Over the last few weeks, we've been able to have a few good chats with new players in, players leaving the club. Good place to start, I think, is just to maybe reflect on a few of those players who aren't obviously moving forward into the 24-25 season, and then we can finish off by focusing on the exciting roster that's already underway and shaping up well for the 24-25 season. So obviously recently some players have been announced, as obviously not heading into the new season with the Seahawks. We'll start off with a couple of the bigger names who've been announced pretty early on. Finney Ulrich, Brock Bartholomew, of course, two fantastic players, really made an impact, here at the Hull in the last year. Just behind us, they picked up quite a few awards between them at the end of season awards, but they'll both be sorely missed, both moving on to what they think is the right step in their career path. Quick few words on this. I know we give a few good words.
I like what you said there. What they think.
What they
That was
think.
good, that mate. No, look, I think it's, I've said a few bits on them, but look, I think for me, obviously Finn. Everyone knows how much I love Finn. He's a great kid, and I've still got a lot of time for Finn, and still speak to him, and I don't think we've seen the end of Finn, and I think I just for him I hope he can hopefully try and get into that Steelers shake up a little bit and try and get on the ice a little bit more with them, and that'll be what he's hoping to do as well. We was in talks a lot of the summer and all season essentially. And I know this is what he wants to do, so you've got to respect it, and I respect him for wanting to do it, and sort of he's gambling on it, and he's trying to make the push into the Steelers. I don't think between sort of what I think, I don't think this is about him leaving to go to Steel Dogs. I think this is about him trying to be an elite league player. And fair play to him. Like I say, we're gonna miss him a lot on the ice. I'll miss him a lot because I lent on him a lot this year. And he was a big part of what we did this year. And he's an old lad, and he belongs here in a sense. But wish him well, and he's got to go and find his way. Yeah, Brock. Look, we love Brock, and yeah, I think I said it before he came. He was, I thought he was going to be too good for this league is not the right sentence, but his ceiling is definitely above this league, and at times we saw this year that he was a seriously good player, and I think someone like that's so skilled on D, so big, in the way he moves, I think for him he's got to try and push himself similar to Finn, but maybe even more of a difficult task for him is he's got to try and navigate that North American system, which we've spoke about. And look, I think for him it's about being a pro and being a professional ice hockey player, and day in day out being with the boys, being on practice every morning, stuff like that, and playing a lot of games. And I think this league don't quite give you that, and that's something that he was missing a little bit. But what I think we did for Brock this year is I think I saw him improve a lot in his game, just by being on the ice as much as he was in the situations that he was. I think he came in raw, and definitely defensively I felt like he improved just because he had to and play that many minutes. But offensively, I felt like because he had so much license and I let him sort of, express himself out there, I think he improved in that area as well. And I hope he makes it. He's a great kid more than anything. Got a lot of time for him and his family. We really did take to him, and yeah, he's a great lad. I'd love to see him back here at some point.
No, I'm sure we all would, whether it be one day on the ice or even just off the ice, just popping by the rink. I'm sure there's a lot of guys, who'd love to see him, just visit maybe one more time. With Brock, with this is the Hull Seahawks Behind the Curtain podcast. It would maybe be a bit interesting, I think, to see if he does make that break. We'll try and keep you updated as well. But another player, maybe one of the biggest misses will be Sam Towner, of course. Someone's got some huge skates to fill. Whoever that may be is the upcoming captain.
Yeah, yeah. Look, that's obviously not that's not a straightforward situation, and in my mind, as a captain, I think maybe many people might think they know who they would like as a captain, and you appreciate that, but I think you have to really be in the room and being around the lads to understand what a captain in this changing room needs to be. Towns was never the most vocal or the most, outwardly, maybe telling people or this, that, and the other, but it was just all about his work rate and the fact that he just came every night and gave his all, and he cared about Hull a lot. He loved playing for the shirt, and you'll always miss someone like that. You can never replace that. And look, I think, what I did notice with Towns is a little bit towards the end that maybe that was not quite there in his mind, because of just off the ice and how busy he is at his school, and he's got a big role now. And as soon as you lose that, not lose it, but as soon as you're starting to think about the end, then it's time, because if Towns didn't have that full commitment, full ball, he won't be the player that we all know, and love. So, yeah, look, massive miss. It's going to be, a difficult choice to make on that side of it, captaincy. But, yeah, I mean, we just thank Towns for his, what he's done for the club for 2 years. He's been, he's been the right leader and the only leader in my eyes that could have done it. And like I say, even before that, he's done a lot for us. So, yeah, massive miss.
Another player recently announced as leaving the club will be Nathan Salem. Obviously, long association with Hull, former captain of the Pirates, and he's been with ourselves at the Seahawks since the birth of it all. But now Nathan, obviously wants another player, opportunities elsewhere.
Yeah, yeah. Look, I think the Nathan situation is, it's a little bit tough. I think. I love Nath. I think he's a great kid. I've got so much time for him and what he offered us for 2 years. I think, look, I think the first year we saw the real best of Nathan. And he showed everyone, how good he is in this league. And I think, being honest, last year I think it was a real tough time for him off the ice. We know what happened. And obviously as a club we tried our best to help, and I think we did that and tried to rally around him as much as possible. But when so much is going on off the ice, it's really hard. And the thing is, people don't realise as well, he don't live in Hull, he lives outside. So there's a drive every time he's coming here. He's got a job that he's up early for. He's got, his daughter as well, which is, we all know how hard that is. I definitely do. So, and I think, look, with Nathan, we struggled really with the balance last year, and it wasn't Nathan at all. It was a lot of them. But I often said on interviews with you, I was struggling to find the balance on that on the second line, or to fill the lines in the right way, and that's why Finn ended up playing in centre. And oftentimes Nathan would drop third line and play third line centre with the kids. And yeah, I think, look, I wanted Nath back for this season. I would have loved to see Nath stay in Hull and play his time out in Hull. I understand why he wants to leave and maybe go elsewhere and find maybe top 6 minutes, or what I don't know what he will want to do, but that's sort of what I think he wants to do. And maybe he had the chance to do that here, but it was. Look, we're going to be a good team this year and a deep team, and nothing's a given. Nothing's a given at this point. The teams are so deep in Leeds and MK and Swindon that we need to be really strong across 3 lines. And like I said, we've got pieces in place that I think maybe I'm a bit more of a natural fit for that, second, first line and the third line. So yeah, look, we're gonna miss Nathan. He's a great lad. He, like I say, worked a lot, really hard for this club, and I thank him a lot for that. And a great family, and yeah. But look, Nath wanted to leave, and you got to wish him well. Like same thing. And yeah, like I say, I'm sure we'll see Nathan back at the ring soon.
Another player, seen very much, around the rink. Is always busy, whether it be on the ice or off the ice, and will be returning fan favourite Tim Lyons. Not to join another club, moving on for career reasons.
Yeah, Timmy, we all love a bit of Timmy, don't we? Bless him. No one loves him more than his mum does, though, and that's how it should be, really. Now look, Tim's great, and he helped me out a lot over the past couple of years. He helped Tom out a lot. He's helped everyone out a lot. And I think for him, I think he just wants to play. He wants to play the game, which of course that's what we're in this for, and he wants to play this game. This level, he's just past him, and that's unfortunately just the truth. And I would have loved to have Tim around it and help out, but he wants to play, and I can never knock him for that. So yeah, good luck to Timmy. Who knows, we might have Tim back one day, and his dream was to come on the pod, and I can't promise you that, Tim, but
He's a good friend of mine. I'm sure I can find some way to make it happen.
yeah, I will see. We'll see, Timmy. We'll see.
Of course, looking back at the roster from last year, for those players that were permanently signed to the club, there's a few players who we haven't named because there's been nothing announced officially, so I'm not going to press you on those. But looking forward to next year, then of course the players that are returning, we'll start off. We'll go maybe by positional group. I think, of course, huge to have Jordy back on another 2-year deal. And then when you look at the addition of Dima, we spoke about this on the podcast a few weeks ago, probably more than a couple of months ago now, actually. But that is some net-minding tandem.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, look, I think Geordie, look, he's our guy. I've backed him for 2 years, and I continue to. Got a lot of time for him. He's a great kid. He loves this club, and I think fans love him as well. And yeah, look, like we said, in the podcast before, this is it's not a replacement. It's not anything other than we're just making our team stronger. And someone like Dima, when someone like Dima comes available, I have to get him, because I believe that he's going to help us win. I actually think he's going to help Geordie come on and be a better goalie, and that's the biggest thing for me, because Geordie's 25 years old, and 26 years old coming up, and he's got a lot of game left and a lot of time to be a real starter in this league, and Dima's done that. So it can only help him, and I think, like I've said before, no goalie can play every game, and I think we need to be smart about what we do. I've seen a few comments about it'll cause problems. I promise you it won't cause problems, because they both know the situation. And like I've said before, if someone's playing well, they'll play and they'll stay. And that's the way it goes. And if I need to change them for, if they're tired or they have a knock or anything, then we do. It's going to be all above board and honest. There's no, back, last minute or behind stuff. It's going to be told to them. They'll know what the situation is, and like I say, we're here to win, and they should both, and I know they are, both on board, and winning is the main focus.
Moving on to the decor, 4 returning. He's already announced. Deck Barber, Tom Barry, Jordan Fisher, Tom Stubley. I think when we spoke with Dave the other week, obviously he's got that homegrown feel as well, with Deck, Jordan, and obviously Stubley, who's from York but has grown up in the whole system. Great to have all those guys back.
Yeah, DB94. I think with him, I think we've got he's the top boy in my mind, and I think he's just got better. He's so solid. He's just yeah, I mean, it's exciting the fact that we have Deck Balm. I think people forget how good he
So I was
is.
just about to say, obviously, with Deck last year, you sometimes think that his contributions and efforts sometimes don't say overshadowed, but
Yeah, it's the way it goes. I mean, when an import comes in and so skillful like Brock, you often forget what Deck Balmer does. Every single team in this league would have Deck Balmer in 4 seconds, and um, he's yeah, can't replace Deck Balmer. So yeah, he's the first. He's here for another 2 years. He'll never leave this club as long as he plays the game. So yeah, I love him. He's great. He's got yeah, he's massive for me personally and for the club. So Stubbs, do you know what with Stubbs? I think last year I thought it was the best he'd played. He really started to find his game. He started to be a bit more aggressive. He was skating better. Um, and it was such a shame that he took the knock when he did because at the time we really did need him. And again, I hate making excuses, and I didn't at the time. But looking back at it now, I think over that final and that time we massively missed a fit Stubbs, and he wasn't fit. He shouldn't have even been playing. He was playing with a bad shoulder, as was Bobby. Very strange. We both had a very similar injury, and yeah, he was doing a job for me, but he was nowhere near 100%. And I think we massively, yeah, that hurt us a lot. And it's such a shame, like I said, but Stubbs has been brilliant. I think again, he's coming into his sort of prime years now, and I think we're going to see the best of him over the next few years. Um, Stubbs is just a funny human. You just want him to, sometimes just grab it and be a bit more aggressive, but he's got zero aggression in his bones. So
I've already had some requests to get him and Emil back on, but in
no,
person this time.
I'm not coming on that one. Can't deal with the giggles. I'll let them do that. Although it is funny to watch. Tom Baz, yeah, solid. We love Tom Baz, so yeah, obviously I've said about him, but solid D man. I'll mention this in a minute when we mention the other ones, but it's very difficult to find D-men, British D-men in this league. Every coach says the same thing. It's very, very difficult to find. And Tom's solid, skates really well. He'll throw himself in front of pucks, block shots, team lad, great kid, a lot of time for him. So yeah, Tom Barry was definite coming back. Fish, the man of many words, the old shirt launch.
Yes.
That went well for you, didn't it?
It's sometimes it's
Not as bad as Lee Bonner. There you go.
well, the thing is, the fans don't know about that one.
No, you never will.
They never will.
No. No. So Fish, obviously, from Hull, loves it, wants to play. He's completely his life is hockey. He'll say it's not, but it is. And he loves it. So, and I think again, like I've said to a few people, I think in this league now at this level, I think I see his game as a D-man. I don't really see him as a forward, not in our team. There's that option if we ever have injuries, of course. But yeah, I think Fish to learn D and to try and become a D-man in this league I think that's his future there. So yeah, I think it's a good signing. He's a big body, can play the body, skates well, solid.
And to complete the decor, obviously the two new signings, we'll move straight on to Davey. I think we had a chat with Davey about Fish moving into into D. I think he wants to see him back skate, I think, at some point.
I'd like to see him backward skate as well before we Fish is all right. He's gonna learn the position, and he did really well at times last year, I thought, and did a job for us. Much like Lee Pollard.
Very, very
Paul.
Yeah, very solid player.
Yeah.
As he went on to do some good things at Blackburn last year as well.
Did.
But yeah, we'll talk Davy Phillips, shall we? Of course, huge signing for the club, but for the league as well to attract, GB International.
Yeah.
We spoke with Callum McGill, the other day. We'll come on to Callum in a second, but Callum says he's just going to be a sponge around Davy, and you got to think a lot of the guys are going to be like that this year, just wanting to take as much as they can from him.
Yeah, look, I think, obviously we've signed two, older players, obviously with Huey and Dave, and some people might say, a bit older, they passed it, stuff like that. I would have not signed either of them if I thought a little bit of that was a thing. I think Huey, I don't think we saw the real Huey last year. I think, we've also spoke about that. But on to Dave. Dave is playing as good as he ever has. He hasn't lost it at all. And there's no one anywhere close to Dave's level in this league defensively. He's a class apart, obviously, just from where he's played, and the players in this league have not done that. So, but more than anything, I think, like you've just said, it's going to help the decor massively. People like Stubbs, people like Baz, people like Callum, McGill, and Fish. These players, invaluable stuff that he can help them with in terms of gap and reading the game and when to jump, when not to. So it's huge, mate. It's a massive part of it. And like I say, he was always coming back, but to get him back now, I think is huge.
No, certainly so. Moving on to Callum then.
Yeah.
Obviously, we got to speak to him quite recently. Excited to see him, to join the side, of course. 1 year at Solway last year, got a lot of games under his belt, but he's looking for a new challenge as well.
Yeah, I think, I saw Callum a little bit last year. Obviously, I didn't see a massive amount of him just because of their decor they had a lot of D. So the ice time wise for him, I don't think it was massive. But where I did see him excel was on penalty kill. And that's a role that I've signed him for, first and foremost, because I know he's very good on the kill. He'll block shots, and he'll just be a solid D man, a young D man in this league. That's very difficult, like I've just said, to find. He's so keen on coming here. He's a great kid. Like, we've spoke to him, he just wants to learn and be here, and he's just a nice kid. And again, it's about people as well, more than players at times.
When we had a really good chat with Davey about situations and playing those big minutes. Talking of the penalty kill, it's going to be quite a new look penalty kill, isn't it? When you think of probably the first line penalty kill last year, 3 of the guys have gone, Finn, Townsend, Brock.
Yeah, it is. We are going to have a different look and a feel at times to our team this year, and yeah, that'll be definitely one of them. And I've signed players in within that in my mind to know who's gonna kill. The last import, I guess, it'll make more sense, I guess, when we do announce him. But like I say, it's you've got to find the right mix of player. It's all right signing everyone that everyone thinks is great, but it's about fitting everyone into a system. And like I say, Callum, he fits in a role, and you need role players in your team to do well.
We'll move on to the forward group. And of course, so many returnees already announced on that regard. Only the one new signing, in the forward group. So I think maybe better if we start there. I think we'll kick off with Huey, shall we?
Huey, yeah. Look, I think obviously, basically, it's all you need to know is he's proven, been there, done it, in this rink on many a night. And like I say, I don't think we saw the best of Huey last year. I think coming here with the pressure off, he's got nothing to worry about other than playing. I think it's going to be great to see him back here in full flight and playing with, Bonner again. He's got a lot of, he's played with Burns a lot, played with Bobby a lot. There's a familiarity there. And you throw in Sobs and Emmy into that, it's exciting. It's really exciting. They're just good players. They all understand the game. They've got good brains. It's huge for us. We really needed a second line, second line centre. He fits that bill.
Well, moving on then to returnees, we'll maybe start off with Bonner, shall we? Burns, yeah. I think everyone, maybe the biggest chuckle of the year, I think. That surprise award at the end of the last year's awards ceremony.
Paul from Power Media definitely enjoyed that one. That was his thing.
Talk about Burns, and I think right at the end of last season, sort of late February into March, once he came back from the suspension from the Cup semi, really seemed to kick on a little bit. I think.
Yeah, I think with Burns, again, similar to Bobby in a way, but maybe Bobby probably had a better year in production wise than Lee, but we haven't seen the best of Burns yet, and I think, everyone in Hull has seen the best of him. We know how good he is. He was brilliant in Sheffield, and I think he came back last year, and I just think it's tough coming back, the pressure. He just didn't find his rhythm early enough, and it took him a bit of time. And I think this time around he's in the gym. He's going to be fit and ready to go from the start. So I think that's gonna help him massively. And like I said, having Huey, having someone that he knows really well, played really well with him in the past. Just confidence for him. Lee needs an arm round him, does Lee. Different players need different things, and Lee needs a nice little cuddle sometimes to say, "Come on, mate, you're doing all right." So, yeah, well, like I say, I'm excited to see Burns next year. I think he's gonna show how good he is and back to his best, and on that second line, I think he's gonna look good.
We'll move on to Bob next. I think you just mentioned him there that
The sheriff.
Playoffs. If we look at playoff Bob last couple of months ago, that was unreal. He sort of found that next level that we've been waiting for, and the hope is that we had a good chat with Bob about this, that
Yeah.
he just keeps himself fit and ready, and we've seen him on the ice today just before recording this, making sure that he's ready to hit the ground running in September.
Yeah, I think when Bobby came back last season, obviously again similar to, but there's a lot of pressure on Bobby. He is Hulk. Like the fans, literally, I don't think there's one fan in there that doesn't love Bobby. Like kids love him, the parents, everyone, and he's a great kid. That's why they love him. But I don't think Bobby was fully at his. I don't think he was fully at his full fitness, ready to play the role that I think he needed to play for Hull. And not because of anything. I just think he'd been playing in MK in a different scenario with Norris, Talbot, where they can do a lot of skating for him. And I think just coming back to Hull, I think, I don't think he was quite ready. And then I think it just got tough for him because he got a couple of knocks, then he's out trying to get fit again. And it was just difficult, frustration. We know what he's like, and that's the frustration part of Bobby, when all the, you see this, everyone having a comment on it. Majority of it comes down to when he's not playing at his best. When Bobby's playing at his best, he probably won't get involved in anything. He's one track minded, he wants to win. So whatever he can do to make the team win, he'll do it. So if he ain't playing great, he'll go and, he'll get that team fired up. He'll get our team fired up. But I want Bobby to be, he's a 50-goal scorer in this league for me, and I think, again, like when we got him off the ice and got him fit, we got him running and got him fit back, ready for the playoffs. Different player, and a real threat and a proper first line player in this league. So, yeah, again, I know he's going to be 25% better than he was last year, and then who knows what he can do. And if playing with players that he's already played with last year, that familiarity there, knowing how Sobs is, getting him the puck, yeah, it's exciting. So
No, so 100%. Say top scorer in the playoffs, top point scorer. So we know what he can do. We've always known what he can do. We've now seen what he can do. Back once again for the Seahawks, and just carry that on through to September. Getting group 3 plays together now, but we'll talk about each of them individually. The young guns that are already signed and ready to go. Brutes, Carrot, and Deck Jones. So we got to see Reese Edwards out on the ice today, and Wednesday skates are always pretty quiet, and a lot of guys working and the commitments. But Carrot looks ready. He's shown that confidence already. He's now 18. I think I saw him with the visor on and the cage off for the first time out there on the ice, and one afraid. Was it one through the legs on Dom?
Oh yeah, that kid is confident. That was one of the first things I noticed with him when he came in the summer. last year, and I saw him immediately, and just the confidence that he had. But yeah, I'm looking at Garrett this year to really push on, and he can get points in this league. That kid is very skilled, very good and tight around the net, good with his stick, smart, but he's got that edge about him as well. He'll get in there. He's not scared or afraid to put himself into positions that, might get himself. He'll go into, contact. He'll go into tight areas. He's skilled, mate. He's really skilled, and I'm real happy that we've got Reece. I think we've got a proper player in Reece, and for the next, however long, and I think he can do a lot of good in this league. Um, Bruce, look, I think again, sort of third year in for Bruce. I think this is, it's the time to Bruce to really, stamp his authority on this team, but also the league, and I think show that, why he is so highly thought of, GB, by everyone here. He does everything right, Bruce. He's been in the gym, a lot, and he's looking really fit. He looks strong. And I'm excited to see him. And that line, that third line, there's going to be one more added in there that might be a little bit more experienced potentially. But yeah, we're going to have that young gun lad is it's really exciting. And DJ class. I can't say anything other than just brilliant. Love him.
He sort of took a big step forward last year, didn't he? He sort of, even, September, saw a few minutes, and then roles sort of grew, and then when he started to score, he could score.
Yeah, he just needed ice time. He needed time. He needed trusting. And that's what I did. And to be fair, it come at the cost of maybe Fisher's ice time. But look, I've got kids here that are here for the future, and they're the future of the club, and they've got a lot of talent. They've got, someone like DJ. He's very, very fast, great skater, strong as a bull. The kid's like, built like a swimmer. He's just, he's serious shape. So yeah, that kid's got, load of potential for me in this team, this league, and he's going to help us win a lot. And yeah, he's a must.
Quick, just before we move on, so Brooks and Edwards, of course, no longer have under 18 eligibility, but obviously Brooks has already represented the under 20s. Reece might be looking at that for the first time. I think when we spoke with them the other month, they were sort of saying trials start to kick in sort of July time. Can you see a scenario where they both end up making that roster?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I think Brooks will, get in because he's at that level already. That he's played a lot of games. He's smart, but I think they should take a chance with Reece because he's so skilled and he can make things happen out of nothing. And yeah, I think good luck to them both. I hope they both get in. They deserve it.
And to top it all off, we've left our two imports. I'm using the dirty word again. Non-British trained players. To last, we'll start off with Emmy, shall we? Great to see him back again. He seems to have, he's settled in just so well. He seems to absolutely love it, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's the Czech king of all, isn't he? So yeah, look, he's a great lad. Obviously, everyone here loves him. And when you have a year like he did last year, what more can you say? I think he can score more goals this year coming. Playing with Sobs for a full year,
It's frightening.
it's dangerous, yeah. So yeah, Emmy, look, I just for Emmy, it's about coming back in the right shape and making sure he's got the right mindset, and I know he will. He wants it. He wants to win. He wants to prove that he's the best. And yeah, excited to see that. And Sobs, what more do you need to say about him? He's got the best points per game last year.
Yeah.
Games that he played, I think if he played from the beginning, I think you're seeing well over 100 points. So yeah, I've got no doubt. Sobs will lead this team and really stamp his authority almost on the league. He wants to be the best player, and he's got everything there to be that. For me, it's about Sobs being sort of not trying to do, not trying to take too much on himself. Like what we saw last year, I think we needed to overplay Sobs a little bit, and I don't want to do that next year. That's why we need that depth and quality. We need a really good second line. We need a really good third line. And yeah, but yeah, I mean, what more can you say? I think no brainer. We've got Sobs for 2 years, and we're lucky to have him here. And yeah, he's one of the best in the league for me by more.
No, I'd have to agree. I think when we, whether you may have seen it or not yet on the channel, but we have had a great conversation with Owen recently in which that where I mentioned a bit of a bet we've had, myself and Gary at Leeds, that I said Owen would be the top point scorer per game, well, points per game in the league once again. So I've got a bit riding on that too. Looking forward to the rest of the summer then, we've got the shirt launch party announced. That's going to be, another fantastic event. In terms of signings, there is still a few more to come. You sort of alluded to a third line forward. Of course, we've still got one non-British trained player slot available. So there's still a lot to be excited for.
Yeah, for sure. I think we've probably got 4 more signings to do, and yeah, I think I think 3 of them are massive signings, so a lot to look forward to, and I think they're a big part of what plugs the gaps for us. And yeah, it's exciting this year. I believe we've got a really good balance, and yeah, it's going to be good. Excited.
No, very excited as well. And where you can get all of the latest, when it comes to the whole Seahawks. Make sure you stay tuned on the Behind the Curtain podcast, whether that be through Spotify or YouTube, and making sure on every episode you're liking, subscribing, sharing, and commenting, as Davey Phillips said, to make sure you're back with us once again soon here on Behind the Curtain.